The other day at school, a boy came up to me and my friend and asked us if we had started a rumour about him. It was a reasonable accusation, as we had got into quite a large debate a couple days prior, where I called him a pussy and stuff like that, so it made sense, but we didn't make the rumour, so we told him that. Of course, our interest was piqued though, so we asked him what the rumour was, and he said it was going around that he had sex with another girl in our year. I don't like him. I had no filter talking to him, so my instinctive reply was, that would be mean on the girl. He was offended, but my friend agreed. She said that if we were to start a rumour about him, then we would say that it was with a boy, that he was having sex with a boy, because one of his main flaws is that he is a minor homophobe. And so, being queer myself, obviously, if a rumour went around the school that I was having sex with someone of the same gender, I wouldn't be mad about the same gender part. But both me and my friend fully understand that this man would be horrified at the notion of being gay. And so we were able to use homosexuality as a joke in retaliation against a homophobe. Hi, my name is Sammy, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel and invite you to talk about gay stuff with me. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is a series released by Marvel from March until April of 2021. It was the second of their large-scale series that they released this year, and it was following the absolute masterpiece that was WandaVision. It follows Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes, also known as Captain America's bitches, as they fight to take down a gang of super soldiers who are also fighting for justice, for the people who are displaced, not by the snap, by Thanos' snap, but by Hulk's snap. They are also the villains. I don't know why, but they are. A large conversation surrounding the show is the homoeroticism surrounding the titular characters. Many fans ship Sam Bucky, and upon first viewing, it would seem that the directors do as well. There are famous scenes that show the pair much closer than friends, like the field scene, in which they roll on the grass together. They roll through a field of grass together, and Bucky ends up on top of Sam. Another main one is the couples therapy scene. First of all, they explicitly say couples therapy, so they interlock legs, they get very close, they stare into each other's eyes, and there's a leg graze from Sam. So it's safe to say that the internet has not escaped these scenes since they came out. There have been entire fan fictions based off of the chemistry shared in just those scenes. And a large notion over the relationship in this series is that it's queerbaiting. With Anthony Mackie coming out with a statement about the purity and the beauty of homosexuality, showing his clear opinions on the Sam Bucky ship, it shows that it wasn't the intention of the creators of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier for it to be a rom-com between these characters. And so it's agreed. The Sam Bucky moments in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier are queerbaiting. They were put in the show, these moments were put in the show to have LGBT fans sitting on the edge of their seats, wishing, hoping that the next scene is going to be a proof of the MCU's first LGBT relationship, only for them to then take that away and make Bucky flirt with Sam's sister. And although the characters are never outright offended or disgusted by the homoeroticism of their actions, only generally annoyed by each other's presence, I can't be the only one who feels that the supposed romance between these characters is similar to a childlike attempt at homophobia. See, when my friend told that boy that if we were to start a rumor about him having sex with anyone, it would be another boy, we were in no way saying that gayness is a shameful or a funny thing. We were saying that the idea of this man being horrified and disgusted by the inclination that he might be gay with his friend is funny. Being gay isn't funny. Two people of the same gender being close with one another is not funny. But if you watch the couples therapy scene or the field scene, it is clear that the closeness of these two men is intended to be funny. I've watched many videos on queerbaiting in the media, and a lot of them use the Falcon and the Winter Soldier as an example, but not once do they ever mention the fact that the show isn't just alluding to a queer relationship and never following through. They're presenting gayness as a joke. Homophobia is not a new thing in the media, but I feel like it should be talked about a lot more than just this is queerbaiting. When the series was first coming out, one of my first big opinions on the show that I immediately went to tell my brothers about was something I got from TikTok. It was about how in episode 3, The Power Broker, there's lots of scenes where Sam kind of asks Bucky if he's okay, and it's I'm not sure, but looking back now, it was definitely a reach. But from this TikTok that I had seen, I wholeheartedly believed that Sam's constant care over his friend was a definitive Sam Bucky moment. My brother made sure to tell me very bluntly that, I quote, "Damn, I think you're starved for emotional expression in your media, kid." He then later told me that queer people are they're just so starved for any kind of representation in the media that will grasp onto these basic human interactions between two characters of the same gender, and hands down, swear to God, it's queer. And unfortunately, he's right. Queer people are so used to representation being hidden as very subtle hints that only queer people recognize in the media. For example, in BBC Ghosts, Captain says, "Ah, Dorothy," in a scene where they're talking about The Wizard of Oz. Now, I can't speak on what the straights might come up with for that, but it's fairly clear to queer people that Captain might be a friend of Dorothy. Of course, his entire relationship with Havers is also kind of a clue, but it could be seen as a reach. But it's fairly clear to the BBC Ghosts queer audience that Captain is gay. And it's all through these little hints. It's never said outright that he is queer, but from looks and from certain things that he says, it is pretty clear that he's gay to queer people. Because that's just how media works. In history, it was never socially acceptable for there to be openly queer characters on TV, so filmmakers and directors would put in subtle hints that they got because they were gay, and other queer people got because they were gay, so it's always just been subtle hints for queer people. If we go back to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, these leg grazes and rolling through the grass scenes can be seen as those kinds of hints. Two major characters in the MCU can't suddenly come out as being in a relationship in a 6-episode series, so maybe they're just hinting towards it. The directors are leaving clues so that maybe one day when queerness is more accepted in the media and when they grow a pair of balls, they can explore it further and make them a couple. We can only dream, though. If Disney didn't have such a distaste to queer representation in their media because of homophobic conservative mothers who would would not dare bring their children to a movie if it had a queer character with more than 3 lines in it, then maybe their queer audience wouldn't hate them so much. Queer people and children are most likely Disney's main demographic. And yet, film after film and series after series, queer people are made absolute fools. Look at you, you really thought that the biggest monopoly in Hollywood would put a queer on their screens. It's tiring. And the fact that the MCU's second best series, not only queer-rated, but with such gross undertones, it's incredibly disappointing. And of course, I need to talk about Anthony Mackie's statement. So here's the quote. I'll need to read it off here because I can't keep it all in my brain. It's impossible. Okay. The idea of 2 guys being friends and loving each other in 2021 is a problem because of the exploitation of homosexuality. It used to be that guys can be friends. We can hang out and it was cool. You would meet your friends at the bar, you know? You can't do that anymore because something as pure and beautiful as homosexuality has been exploited by people who are trying to rationalize themselves. So something that's always been very important to me is showing a sensitive masculine figure. There's nothing more masculine than being a superhero and flying around and beating people up. But there's nothing more sensitive than having an emotional conversation and a kindred spirit friendship with someone that you care about and love. Sam and Steve had a relationship where they admired, appreciated, and loved each other. Bucky and Sam have a relationship where they learn how to accept each other. You'd call it a romance, but it's literally just 2 guys who have each other's backs. Ignoring the fact that Anthony Mackie decided to put out this statement in the middle of Pride Month, months after the series finale had aired, it's just a generally strange thing. I'm in no way saying that the actor is homophobic. He called us pure and he called us beautiful, so even though that's a weird way to put it, thank you. Personally, I find this statement to just be very out of pocket, saying that men can no longer hang out at bars because people will say they're gay to rationalize themselves, and then saying it's masculine to beat people up and sensitive to have emotional conversations with your friends. Okay. I can't tell if he's playing into stereotypes on purpose, but Anthony Mackie, sir, what is wrong with you? In, like, Pride Month. The start of this video is very definitive and it's, I feel like, a little bit more structured, but every time I think about this quote, my mind just turns to mush and my face hurts from confusion, so I apologize. Shipping can be hurtful. All I know about Voltron is that there's loads of discourse about the shipping of underage characters. And also I actually found a fanfiction the other day that was Hawkeye x Hulk. So yeah, it can be hurtful. But I'm under the impression that not many Sam Bucky shippers are personally hurting Anthony Mackie. I think that's the issue that most people have with this statement. It's that, like, nobody is calling you gay. You can still go out to the bar with your male friends and you can still play this character as a straight married man. But you cannot expect an audience that is 50% made up of mentally ill queer teenagers to watch that couples therapy scene and not draw their beautiful art depicting the couple in question. Anthony Mackie shares a repellence to the idea of a queer relationship in his media with his boss, Mickey. And it's fun to hate on a monopoly for queerbaiting and general hatred towards queer representation. But it's exhausting to find out that another actor who apparently improv the scene where he pulls his male best friend's chair closer to him, interlocking their legs, is that hurt by the insinuation that his character might be gay. When I was growing up, queerness was always used as a heavily stereotypical way to ridicule. Men in dresses was hilarious in the media. 2 men uncomfortably look at each other when someone mistakes them as a couple. Kris Jenner was the first trans celebrity I was aware of, and her extensive plastic surgery only made her a laughingstock. So to see that still in 2021 being used as a joke is disgusting. I hate the way the LGBT characters were represented in TV when I was growing up, and maybe that's why I see those scenes as jokes. I don't know, but the fact that it's what kids are growing up with nowadays is so weird. Countless celebrities are coming out as gay and trans and non-binary. Lil Nas X is one of the biggest artists right now, and Nikki Tutorials is probably one of the least problematic YouTubers out there. And yet the biggest movie franchise is still too scared to put gay people in their content, or just admit that they were simply making a joke out of the gay undertones. I think Marvel and Disney and Anthony Mackie just need to grow up. They need to stop pretending like gayness is a joke and that it's something that they need to distance themselves from so heavily. I don't know. Anyways, I don't really know. This was like this was a lot different than the usual ones. Well, the usual. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a year later, and I kind of switched it up a little bit. So this video was plenty inspired by James Somerton, so I'm gonna link his channel and his video on Disney's hatred towards gay representation in the description, because he definitely did a way better job than me. And I mean, he included a lot more examples, and I'm thinking I might make another video on Loki, but also putting any more thought into that other than like Hotcast is kind of making me nauseous, so we'll see. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and like it and comment if I was right or not. I should clarify, these are all 100% my own opinions. I don't think I'm right on many things, but I just like to share my opinion anyway. So yeah. See ya!